Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about media continuing to implode. I did a video yesterday talking about BuzzFeed and how the mainstream media is effectively dead, and now we've got CNN CEO Chris Licht. I think it's Light. I kept calling him Chris Licht, but yeah, he's getting his ass licked. That meant something different back in the day than it does now. And he had to apologize to his staff during a memo because he's effed up so badly. CNN is in such an awful place right now, but I don't think anybody could actually turn this thing around. Layoffs are coming to The Hollywood Reporter, and Deadline owner PMC, which is Penske Media Corporation, amid revenue drops, say insiders. And again, they're not going to have a lot of Hollywood to cover if these strikes continue. There's not going to be a lot of content. It's going to be a trickle-down situation. So everything is changing, guys. Everything is changing. The way we consume news, the way we get our news, the way the media works. And again, I'm going to point back to Elon Musk buying Twitter being a massive, massive catalyst. And then, of course, the venture capital running out and people just getting sick of mainstream news. They're sick and tired of it. You know, they are. And CNN, I don't think there was any fixing it. I really don't. But they've tried everything and they just can't make it work. I think the brand is fundamentally broken at this point. I think they would have to do a complete reset. And I think it's too late. I think people are over corporate-owned talking heads telling them what to think. And, Hollywood mouthpieces, again, these publications, they do some good stories now and again, but they are in the back pocket of Hollywood. That's who props them up. That's who advertises on their websites, and people are out of love with the mainstream, the Hollywood, the news, all of it, celebrities. We don't want it anymore. We've gotten a taste of what it's like to get unfiltered opinions from individuals. And there's no going back to this. And they're going to try real hard. I guarantee you, YouTube right now is trying, I believe, to squeeze the U out of the tube. But there is no putting that U paste. Oh, God, that sounds bad. Putting that back in that tube. It's just not going to happen. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo. My woohoos are not as good as Geekies, but they'll have to make do, right? So woohoo. Woohoo. CNN CEO Chris Licht apologizes to staff during an internal Monday morning call. It's pretty bad. He told staffers he didn't recognize himself in a 15,000-word profile story in The Atlantic published Friday. He sounded like a puss in that thing. The story documented his views on CNN's coverage and his attempts at winning over staffers during his first year on the job. Some CNN staffers saw the magazine profile as showing poor judgment at a time when ratings are falling and employees are openly rebelling against his decision to air a Donald Trump town hall with hundreds of his cheering fans. Warner Brothers boss David Zaslav wasn't pleased with the profile titled Inside the Meltdown at CNN and agreed it was mishandled, according to people familiar with his thinking. He's probably done. Licht, I think it's Light, said during the call he understands staffers' frustration is intent on earning his employees' trust again. Said the people he didn't specifically speak to why he participated in the profile, in which reporter Tim Alberta spent months with him, including joining him at the gym during a personal training session and attending backstage CNN programming rehearsals. The remarks were short, said the people who are not authorized to discuss the matter publicly. A CNN spokesperson declined to comment. He announced the hiring of David Levy on Thursday as the network's new chief operating officer. Levy is going to be tasked with taking over marketing, public relations, advertising, sales, facilities, and other logistics. So he's got to focus on programming. Yeah, this guy's a little blindsided. Did he think this was going to be easy? I think he came from The Daily Show. He thought it was going to be easy. Now, when he was brought in by Zaslav was like, hey, go fix CNN, make it an actual news network again. And Zaslav was proudly boasting that they had Republicans on the platform again. And he thought that we could go back to normal. And God, I wish we could go back to normal. I really do. I've said before, like, I have zero interest in the culture war shit that's going on right now. Unfortunately, you can't get away from it. It's all over the place, you know. And Same with the media. The media is divided. You have very few truly neutral outlets. You know, the corporate owned outlets are absolutely positively running with an agenda, whether it's on the left or the right. And CNN showed for years that they were absolutely on the left, and they were going, they went hard left, and they used to be pretty straight down the middle. It was just, it's the news 24/7. We've got the news. But the last couple of years, it's been opinions, talking heads and opinions, and there's no coming back from that. When you've built your brand up as being, a left-wing platform with talking heads giving their hot takes, that is it. That's your audience. So they get rid of some of those people, and then their ratings sink even lower because the audience that they chased off, they went to like Fox News. They went to OAN or whatever the hell they're watching. I don't know. I don't even watch news that much. It's depressing as hell. Both sides. It's awful. It's just a lot of people shitting on each other and whatever. But, I used to tune into CNN because it was reliable. But yeah, you chased off the normies. You chased off the right wingers. You tried to get them back with the Trump rally or whatever, and that didn't work. And so the left, they're never going to come back because you put Trump on there. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's like CNN it's broken, man. It's just completely broken. And I can totally see Zaslav, who has no patience, just being like, you know what, you're done. And we're just selling CNN, and somebody else can buy the brand and turn it into a news network, and they can do with it whatever the hell they want to do. I'm out. I'm done. I'm tired of paying for this shit. It's not going to pay for itself. It's not going to be what I want it to be. We can't roll the clock back to 1992 anymore. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline say that they are going to lay people off too. This is everybody. Everybody's laying off. Doing 2 videos a day talking about media laying off, and you're watching those on YouTube. What does that say? So Penske Media Corporation's Hollywood Reporter is poised to go through a new round of layoffs after misses on revenue targets last quarter. An insider told The Wrap. The first quarter represented, and it's their competition, so they're probably like, oh boy. The first quarter represented a tough advertising environment for all entertainment trades, but was catastrophic for Reporter, one of 2 legacy publications, the insider said. The individual, a Penske Media staffer, told The Wrap they'd been informed this week of imminent layoffs at the Hollywood Reporter, this after confirming widespread belt tightening and reduction of corporate expenditures across Penske Media. Travel and freelance budgets have been slashed dramatically at Variety as well. The trade has already seen massive reductions in headcounts, first in 2020 during the first wave of the COVID pandemic, and then again when the CEO struck a stock-only deal to take over the trade in a joint venture with Eldridge. They've been on a hiring freeze for several months, second insider told The Wrap, so they overspent. The Reporter is regarded within the empire as less favored, largely because it's a joint venture. They also own Variety, Rolling Stone, and Deadline, and why they need Deadline and the Hollywood Reporter. That's the thing. I think we're going to see a lot of consolidation. The move comes in the wake of a challenging advertising environment within the trade industry, with entertainment studios dialing back their usual campaigns for Emmy season and lower spending during the Oscars. An additional individual close to Deadline told The Wrap that PMC Digital Trade was off by 30% in revenue in Q4 of 2022. That does not surprise me at all. That is happening all over the place. In fact, I have another video coming out either before or after this, I'm not sure when, talking about comic book journalism and the financial reality of it. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, it's way worse than people are letting on. It's much, much worse than people are letting on. I think that they're actually underreporting the losses because some of these are public companies and they don't want people to freak out and be like, oh my God. But I'm telling you anecdotally that we are down significant. I mean, we're down like 75%, for the same amount of views. It's really, really bad. Now we have other business. I mean, we have other businesses. We're fine. The websites were just kind of a side hustle for us, but it's just like, holy hell. It's the rates are the worst I have seen them in 15 years of doing this. Hands down. And there's no preparing for it. Just like happened. Just everybody started freaking out and they just put all spending on hold. They did. They're like, oh, hey, there's a recession coming, and oh my God, Silicon Valley Bank, and oh my God, the streaming wars, and oh my God, and they just stopped spending money. So a spokesperson declined to comment on potential layoffs and said the numbers shared with the Wrap are extremely off and don't make sense. No, they make sense. They make sense. They just don't want to be public with their financials. The ongoing strike by the Writers Guild, leading to a production stoppage across Hollywood, is also a likely factor in economic uncertainty for PMC. Penske paid $100 million for a 20% ownership stake in Vox Media, dumbasses, as well as Dick Clark Productions, owner of the Golden Globes and other television events. Penske's holdings make it one of the largest media companies in the U.S. These include the aforementioned trade magazines, as well as a stake in the ATX Film Festival and the recent creation of their own cultural festival here in LA, LA3C. The downsizing is just one in a series of corporate media entities laying off significant portions of their staff, including Insider, BuzzFeed, Vice, and Vox. It's not going to get any better, guys. This is the year that corporate-backed journalism dies. This is the year that people really pivot to individual content creators, citizen journalists. Everything has changed. Now, they're going to try to rein it in. They're going to try to claw it back in as much as they can. And they're going to scream and yell and try to demonize YouTubers and demonize podcasters, demonize people running their Substacks or whatever the hell else they're doing that's competing directly with these people. But that's the truth. The truth is we're never going back to this. The public won't allow it. It's not going to happen. It's not sustainable. I don't think we want to go back to this. I was talking to a friend, and the closest I can think, and this is a guy who used to work in newspapers, right? This is me. I used to work in newspapers. This reminds me of how all these corporations came in, bought up all these local newspapers. And so you'd have a corporation running out of New York City or LA setting the tone for a paper in like Iowa, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So, I think what's going to happen is everybody's going to go back to having their own like regional quote unquote newspaper, which is going to be their YouTube channels, their podcasts, their Substacks. And we're going to have a lot more people covering news, but they're going to put their own spin on it. They're going to have their own flair. These journalists, so many of them are not prepared to go out there and do a journalism on their own, right? They basically, moved into a cushy job right out of college, and they think this is what journalism is. I'm going to be Lois Lane. I'm going to work for the Daily Planet. I'm going to work for the Daily Planet until I'm ready to retire, and then I'm going to get a watch with the Daily Planet logo on it or something. And that's not how it's going to work. The people who are actually going to be the journalists of tomorrow are going to have to go out and do it themselves, build their own platform, not be afraid to piss people off, and they're going to have to build their own thing. And that's the truth. But the end result is that the public will get a more authentic take on where people are at, where everything is at, because everything now is homogenized and fake and sanitized and controlled by a handful of corporations. The best thing that can happen is that everybody scatters to the wind and we have a bunch of different voices giving different opinions on things. So the public can form a better opinion as to what they think because they're seeing so many different points of view. Right now it's like one or two points of view and it just doesn't work. People are tired of it. We're over it. We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. Right? That's the truth. So I'm going to wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys, and we'll talk later.
Sorry, I yelled loudly.
That's okay. I got the limiter on.
Okay. So
you can tell like
setting.
Yeah, you can tell.
Really? It automatically limits it when I yell?
It does. When the pitch gets too high, it does. Sometimes if you sound like all robotic, it's because it's bringing the decibels down.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.